Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Of all the streaming services out there, only one is different. Discovery Plus. It's the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet. 55,000 episodes of food, love, true crime, home, from networks like TLC, HGTV, and tons more. Yes! With stars like Chip and Jo, an exclusive new series from 90 Day Fiancé, all in one place. Bam! Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what are you guys up to?
Oh, a little weed, you know.
It's the Weedsman Podcast Nugget.
Zippity what?
Ready to drop the bass? Let's drop the bass.
Whoop-de-doo. What does it all mean?
All the random stuff that didn't fit in Friday's show you'll find here.
Oh, okay.
Hey, man. You got a joint?
Got a little bit of reef rice along on your board?
What that mean?
Please, just give me my weed, all right?
I think maybe I need to start using Siri. And
Siri sucks.
well, yeah, but Siri's good for just really basic stuff, like to take a note, for instance.
I feel like I should have had my phone for this entire conversation.
Well, that's true. You have it armed, right?
Yeah.
Mine's turned off.
Put her across the room.
But I'd call it, like, you can change Siri's name, right? Can you change Siri's name?
I don't know. I haven't gone
I'd want to call it
deep into the...
I want to call it Diane, like in Twin Peaks. I'd be Agent Dale Cooper, and I'd say, Diane, take a memo.
Hey, what's the name of the...
Remind me I'm going to be out of weed in 2 days.
What's the name of the one in The Good Place? What's her name?
Oh, Janet.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing Siri's really good for is what's it like outside and hey Siri, where are you?
Oh, where are you?
Yeah, where I don't know where my phone is.
Oh, you can just yell
She'll
that
be like,
out.
I'm over here.
Oh, okay. But what
Hey
if your
Siri,
phone can't?
where are you?
I'm right behind you, dipshit.
Here I am.
See? Yeah.
You can play hide and seek with your Siri.
But yeah. But other than that,
You
like...
get drunk, forget where you hid your phone.
I mean, she's all right in the car with with CarPlay for like texting and stuff. But there are just some times where I'm like, that is not even close to what I asked you. Put it this way, it's something I've learned to not rely on. And how many years has she existed now?
Oh, yeah.
Are we on a decade of Siri yet?
No, it can't be, because it seems like, around 6 or 7 was Siri? Or maybe it was the 5S. Wasn't that the 5S?
Soon, the internet will provide us with our answer.
So I'm going to say 6 or 7 tops.
October 2011. Wow, we're almost on a decade of Siri.
All right, so you're closer. Yep.
God damn.
Which model, then?
I think you are right on that one, though.
The 5S?
5 sounds familiar.
I forget that we weren't always getting a new iPhone model each year. That didn't used to be the case, did it?
The virtual assistant, first to launch in early 2010, it was a standalone iPhone app called Siri, created by a 24-person startup with the same name that Apple would soon acquire. But those guys are happy they did that shit.
Or were they? How much were they acquired for it?
All right, like $2.
It was all part of a bet on bacon futures and.
Okay, I apparently have to look up what model.
Yeah, what model iPhone were we? That's just how we're going to refer to ages in the future, because we're not going to say, like, back in the 20s, like do you mean the 1920s? No, the 2020s. Back in the 20s, we're just going to be like, back in the iPhone X era.
4S.
Oh, okay, it goes back. This thing goes back further.
Siri was then integrated into 4S.
Siri's been. She's been integrated into the system since almost the beginning.
It goes deeper than we thought.
Yeah. It's like Hydra. It's infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D.
Put chemicals in water and make the frogs gay.
What was that from?
That's a bad Alex Jones impression.
You see, I say the frogs are gay. How do I know they're gay?
I was trying to be.
First of all,
I was trying to be subdued, Alex. You're trying to be agitated, Alex.
I mean, put 2 and 2 together here, folks.
Yeah.
Right? Frogs. Where do frogs come from? France, right? That's why we call French people frogs.
Gay.
Think about it, right? French people eat frog legs, and we call French people frogs because that's where frogs came from. They invaded this country. What else? The gays also came from France. Back in the day, straight people didn't French kiss. Oh, you're making fun of me. You think this is a big conspiracy? Well, guess what?
So you've been
You wake up one day, you find a frog at the end of your child's bed, spouting some nonsense, frilly, frou-frou French shit.
Apple's been listening to your conversation for almost 10 years and nobody cares. And now the frogs are gay.
Filling his head with hedonist nightmares.
What the hell is this?
This is the
shit remix?
sex mix. This is the Enigma mix. This is the music that the aliens play when they finally catch you and it's time for rectal insertion. Like, just relax. Just lie face down on the table. We're going to put a couple rocks here on your spine.
It's time for your probing. Open
Just,
up your anus.
Massage your temples there for a minute. Put some some nice smelling flowers or potpourri. Get you in a nice relaxed state. And here comes a wand that might sting just a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it looks long.
Might feel a tickling sensation.
But you have miles of intestine inside of you. Believe me, there's plenty for this thing to go. Unfurl this thing. It comes out on like
This is the worst proctologist visit ever.
It comes out on one of those like hose reels that you get for your yard to.
Oh God!
To roll up your hose.
Can I be asleep for this, future alien overlords?
That's too primitive, though, right? If there was an advanced society that was interested in what was inside of our butts.
Even as a kid, I always remembered. I always wondered as a kid, like, why would they look in our ass?
Well,
what's the fascination? Why is the secret to our?
Because I think primarily the first question they'd ask was, "What are these people hiding?"
Like, because as a kid, I wasn't buying it. Like, why are they looking why are they looking in the butt?
They're all hiding something, and what are they all hiding in common? They're assholes. So there must be something going on in there. But they would be smarter than us, right? They'd have interstellar travel and the ability to like teleport us.
They'd scan our brains.
So they wouldn't have to drug us and slip a probe into us. They'd probably just trick us in. They'd find ways to trick.
I think I've always thought
they'd have like a bar set up with like a glory hole or something, or
get you to fuck it.
They'd do something. They'd figure out that most people's assholes were accessible without having to knock them out or hit them with the hypno beam.
It's like, too, would they do that to every planet they go to? We're picking up a life form and we're looking in its ass. That just sounds weird. Like you're intergalactic sex tourists.
I think it would depend on the species. Like if you came across a species that defecated from a hole that was on top of its head and it was there for everyone to see, you'd be like, okay, well that's the obvious thing. What else is going on here though? What is this species hiding? It might sit on its mouth. Why doesn't it want anyone to see its mouth? What's going on there? See, now for humans, it turns out that they're just kind of hairy and ugly, and we don't like them. We'd rather...
We are shaved apes.
We're rather just, it's a sad reminder of our primitive past. And the last bastion in a narrowing field of things that we can't still control in our lives.
What, that there's other life out there?
No, that sometimes our asshole goes out of control and we can't do anything about it.
That's true.
You know? That's something that will commonize every person, being on the freeway and all of a sudden realizing that burrito you ate 2.5 hours ago.
It's time to come out.
It's time to,
Now.
You might have a few miles to go, but it's going to need to exit now, whether you're getting off the freeway or not.
Have you ever had strawberry Rice Krispies?
Yeah, they're gross.
Oh, see, I have the complete opposite opinion of them.
Show me
it's like one of the greatest cereals ever made. It tastes like smashed up Crunch Berries.
I don't know of any artificial strawberry flavor that tastes like actual strawberries.
Oh, absolutely not. You are correct. But in the right food.
Yeah.
They are delicious.
Like why they ever made strawberry Kool-Aid that's a mystery to me. I think it was just to fool kids, just to fuck with them. They think it's like cherry punch or whatever the fuck.
Trust me, trust me, because I love the strawberry flavor. Like, I like strawberry jam, so trust me, I'm with you there, because when real bad fake strawberry flavor is awful.
Like strawberry jam is like when I don't want to spend the money on the raspberry. The raspberry is really where it's at with the preserves and jellies.
That's another flavor. When it's fake, when it's fake and really bad, it's awful.
Yeah, I think raspberry is probably one of the more difficult flavors. It's a little more complex.
Which usually when you see the blue flavor, it's blue raspberry.
It's blue raspberry, right? And blue raspberry always has a sour angle to it.
Yeah.
So I think they figured out, like, we could get this to taste just like a raspberry, only it uses a shit ton of citric acid. And
one of my flavors in my vape juice is strawberry. And it's just one thing I learned early on with vaping is strawberry flavor in vape juice there's a wide range, and it varies from very good to very awful.
I can only think of one context in which artificial strawberry is acceptable, and that's when it's combined with some sort of medicine, even if it's just something as simple as a Hall's mentholyptus. What do you call them?
Cough drops?
Yes, thank you.
Wow, is cough drops a deep pull for you, yes, man?
I was on a roll and I got tripped up on something stupid. Anything like medicine, strawberry cough syrup or cough drops or something like that. Something where you're already expected to have a weird kind of chemical aftertaste of some sort that you can just blame on the medicine, when it's probably also the fact that artificial strawberry is gross.
I had strawberry Rice Krispies and they were delightful.
I had a strawberry shortcake cake. Like strawberry, what? It was a cake that was done in the style of a strawberry shortcake, but it was more cake-like.
So it's made out of pound cake, and then it had whipped cream type frosting.
Right, yeah.
And strawberries in it?
Yes. Yeah,
right.
It had a layer, it was like pound cake with a layer of strawberries in the middle. And then,
It sounds delicious.
It was quite delicious. But that's actual strawberries.
It's true.
I'm down with strawberries. Don't get it twisted, son.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
More time at home means more washing, drying, cooking, and cleaning at home, and more wear and tear on old appliances. But it's the perfect time to save on new ones at the Home Depot. For savings on the latest appliances, and right now, free delivery. From the kitchen to the laundry room, that upgrade is well within reach. And closer than ever. Save on top appliances, now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Free delivery on major appliances, $396 or more, valid through January 27th.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
I like strawberry.
Sounds like you put strawberry flavor and grape flavor in the same category of...
Well, grape's different because it's like down low on the list as a fruit and as a candy flavor.
I feel like when we were younger...
Grape preserves and jams are straight out, no. Can't get down with that. Grapes are okay, but only the green ones and not in large quantities. They make good filler for a nice fruit salad. Because they can... The thing about the grape that makes it good for a fruit salad is that it can remain whole and give you something that still has some snap into it, right?
Around here, we love grapes. We'll eat them just as a snack.
Yeah. What, in the city?
No,
this fine city.
This house. No, yeah. My house. Me and my wife.
But I feel big grape eaters?
Yeah. Also, too,
you're lovers of the grape in all forms.
They're not constantly in the fridge, but if we see them, we get them.
I don't know. Do you keep your grapes in the fridge?
Yes.
I think we keep too many fruits and vegetables in the fridge, don't we?
Yes, my wife's in that club with the stuff she likes. She doesn't like it refrigerated, except grapes.
But it's association. We figure if it's room temperature, it's going bad already, right? Yeah. So you eat something at room temperature. You want it to be crisp.
Well, with perishable food, that's actually a thing.
Sure, yeah. But not all perishable.
The longer you're at room temperature, the quicker it's going to do what it does.
Right, but there's... I guess that would be true for all foods, but there's also a trade-off because you can damage if you could extend the freshness, quote unquote,
yes,
of something by putting it in a fridge or freezer even. but you could destroy the flavor of it, like an onion. You could keep onions longer if you kept them in the fridge.
Well,
but you also
smells like onions.
And you would ruin the flavor of everything in your fridge and the onion. It's a lose-lose situation.
This grape and onion juice is delicious.
But I was thinking about that. I had a bag of, if you buy them at Kroger, they're called cuties, the small little oranges.
Oh yeah,
you get them at
little clementines.
Aldi's, they're Mandy's. They're mandarin oranges, but they're really small ones.
What's funny is when I worked at Aldi's,
kids are crazy.
Aldi's did have the cuties, but now cuties apparently are a brand name.
Yeah, I believe
they've moved up in the world.
Well, I mean, you're right.
Because I have to set out produce every morning.
Why would anyone buy a full-size orange?
Because they're delicious.
The mandarin oranges, the tiny ones are
apparently you and
better.
I just on produce we do not agree.
The little mandarin oranges have like this tang to them that is just perfect.
An orange is delicious.
It's too sweet and it's too big and it's too messy to deal with. Like mandarins peel nice and easy.
All wrong answers.
Usually you get it. Their hides are too thick now too.
Because then that way you can just peel it all in one fell swoop. With the thick hide.
No, I'm telling you, the thin ones on the mandarins come off way easier. And they leave behind less of that white chunky shit that you don't want to eat. Or the actual rind pieces.
A lot of hot produce talk this show.
My daughter was kind of upset because I can't remember what we were watching, but it was Lock and Key. And there was some scene that takes place can't talk. It takes place in a high school, and she was like, they never show people with like acne and shit. Like everyone's got perfect skin. And
it's your first time watching TV,
right?
For that, ask her.
But it does illustrate that, like, for all the strides that Hollywood has made in representation, right? We want to show a lot of different variety of people on the screen. Like, there's certain things that they're just not going to go there, right?
Yeah.
Like bad skin, bad hair, fucked up teeth.
Still ain't happening.
Like, unless you're Steve Buscemi and you're just like, just got talent and that you're dripping out from in between your fucking crooked ass teeth.
Steve Buscemi made it part of her shtick.
Well, also leaned into playing the villain you need somebody who's really fucked up, like they're on drugs and unstable, or like mentally they're...
It's like Snoop with weed.
Right.
It's like Ellen with dancing. Made it part of her shtick.
You can be a character actor.
Yeah.
But you ain't getting on Degrassi.
Yeah.
You don't need hunchbacks need not apply.
Correct. Steve Buscemi knew there weren't going to be 12-year-old girls putting his picture on the wall.
We need a white, we need a black, we need a Chinese, we need a Mexican.
But all with clear skin.
We need a fatty, we need a super skinny, no.
Hey, by the way, on everything you're saying right now, hold on.
It's not me. It's them. No, they talk about this shit like that behind closed doors.
They always have, and they're always going to.
Amongst each other. They do a press conference and they're like, we believe in representation, and there's a wide variety of people that enjoy our programming.
The only reason they're doing that right now is to keep making money.
And then they go back and close the door with the person in HR, and they go, all right, how do we get more blacks on the show?
Yeah, we need more brown skin.
All right, everybody. Everybody's got one black friend, right? Cough it up. Let me see your black friend. Let's get him an interview. We need to diversify people.
No, what's funny is I know how it sounds, but I keep noticing on some of the network shows Mandy and I are watching, a lot of white males disappearing. On Law and Order SVU, the one white male is now delegated to he's the lawyer.
Okay. I don't mean to be completely pedantic, right? But disappearing, I mean, there's still...
Being replaced
even is like, there's only going to be so many detective shows on TV, even though, network television seems to believe that we have an infinite demand for these shows. There's still only so many that you can produce. And if you're going to be more inclusive, that means that, yes, other people...
I'm saying the only male left in the unit on SVU is Ice-T. All right, and I'm thinking this blackness is keeping them there. It's checking the box.
But this is all in the interest of achieving some sort of balance, not going, we don't want to see any more white dudes on TV. We're going to be angry if you put a detective that's a white, middle-aged dude, straight dude.
The white dude used to be a detective, but his storyline was he was studying to become a lawyer. So now they've moved him to be the DA. And he was replaced with, I believe, it was either Hispanic or Arabic woman.
Oh, yeah.
It's turned... We talked about it on Regimented. It's really leaning into becoming Law & Order SJW. Oh, because also at the beginning of the season, the chief, who was a white male, retired, and he was replaced with an Arabic woman. Like even Mandy is like, wow, they're just struggling to check a lot of boxes on this show at this point because it's network TV. Like it's to the point where I guess it's noticeable.
See, but
it's crossing the line into pandering.
It's not the pandering to me. Like this does exist on TV, but I don't think it's it happens with the casting. I think it's way more in the writing and the story choices.
That's the next part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Is there's stories going on, and we'll just look at each other like.
And if the stories are strong enough, then it doesn't matter. So, like Miracle Workers. Show that I've been enjoying recently, and they have a wide variety of people that are in their cast, different nationalities and whatnot, body types and all that. They did a really good job of casting, not just a bunch of generic looking beautiful people.
But for the record, they all have clear skin and white teeth.
Also, well, Steve Buscemi's also in this. Speaking of him, and he plays God. And this is heaven, and this is where everybody in the world goes. So you're like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of representation, right? Mm-hmm. For their second season, they went with a completely different concept because season one kind of wrapped up nicely, but they had this nice ensemble of a cast that works really well together. So they wanted to, do another story. So the first season was based on a short story by an author. They picked from the same author a different story. They chose a medieval storyline for the second season, right? So now they have this Benetton cast of all different types of people, and they tell a story where probably most people, it was pretty homogenized in a setting where it would probably have been a village full of white people. But it doesn't really matter. Again, they're not trying to tell something that's historically accurate. So if the story and the cast and everything is coming together, so none of this really matters. You're not thinking about, but why did they cast that to a person of this ethnicity or this background or whatever? You're not really questioning any of that. On the other hand, there's stories that just wear it so blatantly on their sleeve, the politics and where they stand on current. They're like, everything's got to be an allegory for something that's currently happening in the news, so the torn from the headlines type stories.
Well, too, that's when
I'm not talking about even, like, I can almost accept that if you're talking about like a show like Homeland or something that's supposed to be based on real events. But what was the big Amazon show with the fairies? And what was it called? It has Orlando Bloom in it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a fantasy story, and there's different races. There's fairies and people with horns growing out of their heads, and they're all kind of coexisting. And of course, it would be a natural place to put in stories about race and the things that separate our species. I mean, we're human. We're going to write about what we know. But it's so blatant in just the core plot to the whole setup for the show that you're like, no, I get it. Yes, the fairies are Mexicans, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on. Are we going to tell any real story here?
Well, that's this new mindset I've noticed that I've gotten into the last couple years. Maybe too comes with aging and all that, but it's like someone half my age wrote this. Like, you could just tell. Like, some 21-year-old, some 22-year-old wrote this. Like,
and that's the thing. I have no problem with the agenda, right? If you have an agenda that you want to write good fiction that's going to tell a certain story from your perspective, you think that's unique. You are blank, and you believe that gives you a unique perspective on a certain situation, then great, tell your story, right? And if that's a great story, I'm going to identify with it. And I might even think what you want me to think. But if your story is immediately like telegraphing to me, like, this is what I want you to think. Like, you are a bad person if you don't come away with this conclusion, right?
But too, I think it's another thing that comes with aging. Oh, I've been saying that far too much lately. But you realize younger artists are far more blatant. They're far more beat you over the head with something.
Well, and maybe it's part of being young. But yeah, they're
older artists understand nuance.
They're so anxious to tell their story that it shows that, they don't have a poker face.
Yeah. Someone like Quentin Tarantino, he's going to tell there's going to be a lot more nuance, a lot more making you think about his stuff rather than...
Well, this is the problem that a lot of people have with the new Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
So new Star Trek is even more diverse cast and more representation than something that is usually has a lot of progressive representation in it, like Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Did I say Star Wars? Anyway.
Did.
Yeah, so the Star Trek reboot stuff that's on CBS, right? Mm-hmm. Discovery.
The one that the fans all hate?
Yeah. Part of what they hate is that these writers didn't seem to understand the material that they were pulling from originally. They went, okay, what is Star Trek? It's political science fiction, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's science fiction with political stories thrown in of things that we were going through at the time, like civil rights
I mean, I haven't followed it that much, but I remember when it first came out, this new one the bitch about it was like we were talking about. It was really. It seemed like it was really stretching to pander, to be all-inclusive, and the hardcore Star Trek fans were like, if you know anything about the Star Trek universe, it's already pretty fucking inclusive. You don't have to really stretch to do it.
Well, one of the big examples was there was a character in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. And this character is just, this is the future, and there's a character in a fucking wheelchair, right? Mm-hmm. We have people that have half robot bodies. They can rebuild, they can regrow limbs.
Data was disabled?
They can, why, I understand that you want to have representation of disabled people in the show.
Data was blind.
No, Data was the robot. That was Geordi.
Or no, Geordi was blind.
Yeah, but
Geordi was confused the two.
Geordi was blind, but he didn't.
One's black, one is white. Why do I was confused?
But he didn't go around the corridors with the stick and sunglasses. He had
the futuristic stick.
He had the hair clip.
Yeah.
He had the big hair clip that he wore over his.
Every time my sister had one of those, I would put it on. Dude.
And that allowed him to see like anybody else. Yeah. That's the thing.
That's the Kane of the future.
You can't really represent disabled people by putting somebody in a wheelchair in the future, because in that future they would be healed. Yeah, they would have grow new legs. They would have robot legs.
Yeah, if I just saw that, that's how I'm wired. First thing I thought of, really? We haven't figured this out by this far in the future?
Yeah.
We were bullshit.
There are paraplegics in the world going, can you please help us? And they're like, fuck you, we're synthesizing Sundays on demand.
Yeah.
We figured out how to make beer just by saying into a computer, hey, computer, make us beer.
Yeah, we figured out this replicator thing, but sorry, you're still stuck in that wheelchair. No! It's not how it would go.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net. If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.